Welcome. If you're seeing this on YouTube, I want to welcome you. Please share this recording with the people that you love and the people who are asking for some answers. I'm going to start with some books that I want you to look up. There are not a lot of books, but one is called Holy Blood, Holy Grail. I forgot the author's name. There are two authors. Holy Blood, Holy Grail is a very scholarly book. It's a dry book, but it's important. They're telling me, my guides are telling me that you need to look up volume 2 of Black Athena. Black Athena, written by a Jewish scholar called Martin Bernal. He was hunted down like a dog. Every time people come up with stories and truths and things about genealogy, history, whatever, it's bastardized. People are shut down. And this man recently, he died in the last 5 or 6 years. And I bought his books when he was alive. He was a professor at Ruger University. And if you buy the book and you read it here and there sparingly, take your time, you'll understand why I'm telling you to buy it. You'll actually understand, because one has to understand how bloodlines are dispersed. And it's not about Mary and Yeshua, just so you know, just so I don't want to disappoint you. It's called Black Athena, written by a Jewish scholar. He was Jewish. And he was a professor of ancient Asian history. And at a certain age, he had come to Jesus moment, meaning he fucking decided, what the fuck? I know all about Asian culture, but I don't know anything about my own. And what he uncovered, he was a pure soul. And what he uncovered about the Semitic beginnings of the Semitic tribes, that's going to educate you when you're being called anti-Semitic, just so you know. And there's a lot more. There's a lot more. And if you're African-American, biracial, white, with some bloodlines that are mixed into you, Irish, Scottish, you're definitely going to want to buy that book. The second book is The Gnostic Gospel by Elaine Pagels. I can't say enough about it. It's probably the most important book that blew the doors out of this whole bullshit about the fact that such a man as Yeshua would have been unmarried and single and, bachelor and celibate. Yeah, that's not the reality of that timeline for these types of men. It was not going to happen. The other book is called Jesus Lived in India by Joseph, I think it's Kessler. He was a German scholar. And then if you want to look up Astral Legends on his whole video on Yeshua, go look it up. It might be woohoo for you, but honestly, what we've been told about our origins, Darwin's theory of the fit will conquer and that the story of evolution is a massive load of bullshit. And I knew as a child that it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense to me. And if you're a starseed, you'll know. If you're a pure Christian, I'm not for you. Sorry. If all you're going to follow is the Bible, I'm definitely not for you. If you're going to tell me this is all truth, the Adam and Eve, and you're going to believe that two people, and no offense, white people, black people, whatever the race you want, only these two people did it, you don't understand evolution. Okay. Now, the concept of Mary of Magdalene not giving birth to a child. Now, I keep referring to the movie. There are two movies you need to watch back to back. Three. One is The Passion of the Christ. If you haven't watched it, you should watch it. The second movie is The Last Temptation of Christ, written by an Italian. I'm trying to remember the director's name, and I can't. I don't come prepared for these lives. I'm divinely guided to do them, and just trust me with what I trust myself. Rather, don't trust me. I'm going with what I'm feeling. The Last Temptation of Christ shook the world, because the premise is of Jesus being on the cross, thinking about what it would have been like to have a family with Mary of Magdalene. Now, we know Mary of Magdalene was not a whore. We already know that. It's the Catholic Church knows that. We all know that. So any Christian, born-again Christian, that denies the truth of that she was not a whore, she came from a very well-to-do family in the village of Magdalene. I remember, I'm going to tell you why I get pissed off with born-again Christian and Christians who think they love Yeshua. And the fact that they refuse to call him Yeshua or Joseph or what was it, Joshua. Yeah. Or Isa. Even the Quran knows about Isa. The Ethiopian Bible is something I haven't bought yet. I'm ashamed to say that, but with grocery bills, thank you, America. It's been tight, but it's a book I need to buy. Is the Ethiopian Bible, because it documents. So the Ethiopians are the original Semitic people who came out of the issue of Bathsheba and Solomon, I believe, right? Okay. If I'm wrong, correct me. I'm good. I don't know everything. I'm doing shit off the top of my head. I don't have notes. I'm not prepared. I'm just talking. The fact that people have an issue with the fact that Yeshua was a highly evolved soul. There's no conversation. There are souls. You mothers out there know that you have children. Some of you have birthed crystal children, indigo children. You know what I'm talking about. Krishna's mother, my apologies for not remembering her name. God bless her. But Krishna's mother, the pastimes of Krishna are talked about, and the irreverence of that baby, that child, and the magic that seems to surround this child was very similar to what happened to Yeshua. It's very similar to what's happening to you with your crystal kids, indigo kids, dark empath. They're not taking any shit. And the fact that they would think that some of these hints that we have actually, we're aware of, right? Of the way Yeshua loved Mary Magdalene as his equal. And the fact that the Abrahamic religion, now please look at what's going on with women in that realm, okay? They're still fucking wearing wigs, veils, bullshit, okay? And if that's not politically correct, I'm not for you, because I'm not here to be politically correct. I'm here to wake myself up, and whoever wants to wake up as well. If I can help you with a glass of water, of knowledge, or a little seed that is planted in you, I'm grateful. But I'm not going to be politically correct. Fuck that. We've been so afraid and so, fucking castrated from our passions. To speak with passion. To speak from the heart. Even if we fuck up. By the way, recently I fucked up. And I corrected the fuck up. I had said that Pope Benedict gathered the three Marys and connected the whore with Mary of Magdalene. It's actually Pope Gregory, and you'll see that in my notes in YouTube. So I have no problem. But what I'm trying to give all of you is a reverent power to fucking talk from your heart. And if you realize, oh shit, I wasn't correct, fucking repair it by putting a note in your video, on your posts. Post it. I fucked up. I was in error. I made a mistake, but this is the actual information. If somebody corrects you, look it up. And then I remember doing a video on Buddha being born in India. No, he was born in Nepal. My mistake. And I said, thank you. You're correct. My mistake. There's nothing wrong with fucking up, But what is wrong is not speaking up. Now that's wrong. And if you're a perfectionist, you're fucked. I'm sorry. I could go on and on that. You can look at all my lives on YouTube and look at some of the things I've said in 2023 and 2022 about some of the magic that comes up from not being a perfectionist. Quite literally, magic. And when you fuck up, be humble and repair the damage. And quite often it's not damage. It's just the wrong information or the wrong name or the wrong date in history. It's not going to harm anyone, but it's always good to own it and repair it. So the fact that beautiful Mary of Magdalene was the Grail, and all the hints, I look back on Excalibur. One of my favorite movies of all time is called Excalibur. It's about the Arthur's Round Table. My second favorite movie, actually it's not second, they're equal to each other. They're equal. It's like loving two children. Is called The Mist of Avalon. The Mist of Avalon. Incredible movie, hard to find. Buy the DVD on if you can buy the DVD on Amazon or eBay or whatever, please buy it. It's extraordinary. And the level of hate that men have been taught through hundreds of years is unhinged. But the level of hate I've seen women have for their sons is also unhinged. I'm fair. Not because I want to be politically correct. Trust me, I don't give a fuck. It's because I've seen it. I've heard it. I've seen women have bare sons and beat the shit out of their sons because their ex, the father of their son, left, and the son reminded them of their ex. 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds. Can you fucking imagine? 14-year-olds. You look like your father. You act like your father. So we are not pure either. What we need to get back to, and this is what Yeshua and Mary Magdalene were all about, is the balance of the divine masculine and feminine. The balance. Did you hear that? Balance. The balance. And not the gender wars that we have been preyed upon by the 1%. Yeah, the 1% for about 2,000 years. Probably longer, but that's the history we're going to hold on to right now. And it's insidious. Insidious. And troubling to me. Because if you hate your ex that much, you may want to rethink. Maybe you shouldn't be raising that boy or that girl. They are not your fucking punching bag. They're not. If you think you have that kind of vengeful heart as a woman or revengeful heart and you're going to use a baby as your punching bag, get your fucking tubes fixed. I'm sorry, fuck it. Be honest with yourself. When women say, I'm happy and childless, I'm like, good, thank fucking God. That's honest. Why am I going there? Because the gender wars, that it's weird, it gets reinvented by think tanks controlled by the 1%. Why am I saying that? Because we had the perfect master couple and they were buried alive. Why am I saying that? Because the truth will emerge in the dark, no matter what, into the light, no matter what. It took a long, long time for us to find out what the Catholic Church knew all along. I mentioned it once, but I'm going to mention it again. We had a female pope. Did you know that? Did you know that? And there are documentaries on that truth. There are books on that truth. There are movies on that truth. We had a female pope called Pope Joan. And she was a highly educated woman, a young girl actually, and she dressed as a boy because it was safer. Why? Because we know what happens to women when they're not dressed as males. We know what happens. And she somehow came to Rome with her tutor, who was her lover, and she actually went off on the ranks, bishop, cardinal, and boom, pope. Can you imagine? She became a pope. Why do you think they have the Pope's chair? Do you know what the Pope's chair is? If you don't know, look it up. There's a scene in the Borgias with Jeremy Iron that shows the Pope's chair and how it's worked. They're making sure that you have family jewels. Why? Why would that matter? Because they got duped once and they're not going to be duped again. Did you know that? If you don't know that, you should know that. In fact, in the tarot cards of the Hierophant, it became the Hierophant. It was originally La Papesse, the female pope, La Papesse. I'm not making this shit up. It's right there for you to look at. Esoteric teachings and knowledge is there if you want to look for it. They're telling me to say, and the Borgias were Spanish, as you know. First ever pope to be a foreigner, meaning not Italian. And they had black blood in them, blackamoor. What is very interesting to me is, no offense, but many countries don't know that the blackamoors, Moors, the Moorish people, black, not Arabic, black, owned Spain, Italy, and France, and other parts for about, depending on who you talk to, 500 to 700 years. Why is that important? Well, because it literally destroys racism, doesn't it? It actually destroys and tears it all down, because the idea that there's a hierarchy based on race now is completely decimated. Queen Scotta came from, depending on who you speak to, came from North Africa. Queen Scotta, Scotland. Why is that important? Because it unifies us. That's why this ginger, redheaded thing has fucking ripped the curtains down of these segregations of feeling alone in being bullied and put down because you've got red hair and freckles, whether you have black blood or not, or white blood, or whatever the fuck that means. Like like blood is white, or blood is red, or blood is yellow, or blood is blue. It makes no sense to me. The most important thing we have to do as spiritualists is spread the word of reincarnation. Reincarnation. Because at that point, it unifies us. If you know you were a Chinese woman and now today you're lifting weights and you're 6'4" and you're a 223-pound man, that's important. That's massively important. Because now you have compassion for what it is to be the most abused sex. There's only two, right? Some people will say there are 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7, but there are 2 sexes. And then there are women and masculine souls that are trapped in the wrong body. There's no argument there. There's none. Why? Well, because if you've had incarnations as a woman being made love to men in 5 incarnations, you're going to have a hard time being in a masculine body and playing the role of making love to a woman when really your taste now has been wired for men. And now you're going to be a man. You're going to be a man that loves women or men. Actually, you're gonna love your same sex because that was how you were wired. And I've often wondered why that happened. I used to live in San Francisco during the AIDS epidemic. Not a fucking good time. Not a good time at all. It was horrific. And it was horrific how the medical industry, the governments, the states treated gay men. Horrific. The hypocrisy was fucking unhinged. We are all valid human beings. It doesn't matter if you're born hermaphrodite. It doesn't matter if you're born gay, straight. I remember when I first started this channel, gay males asking me, can gay people be twin flames? I was like flabbergasted at the question, because it's like, of course you can. What are you talking about? It has nothing to do with what's between your legs. When we talk about the sacred feminine and sacred masculine, we are talking about when we represent it, we are seeing the feminine embodiment in the feminine body and the masculine embodiment in the masculine body. We are seeing that. There's no, I'm not going to argue that point. But to be honest with you, I've also seen masculine and feminines who appeared to me in my own visions when I was doing readings for them of the same sex, or hermaphrodite, or what's the word? Androgynous, sexless. And I don't know why that's so hard for people to wrap their head around. I mean, it's funny because when you think about Yeshua and Mary Magdalene, they were trying to just set up building blocks of the balance of love. And so they were working with what people knew based on the fact that they lived in Palestine, Jerusalem. And they were trying to just work with what people understood. We're talking primer. You know, primer, like when you first read your first book? A primer. Language. A primer understanding. Brass tacks. Bare bones. And the problem with people who interpret the Bible, they interpreted all kinds of shit that drove people to take their lives. Drove people to buy slaves and think they were just nothing more than cattle. Drove people to use women like they were fucking breeding horses or cows. And why am I saying? Because it's fucking, look at the data. Every masculine out there that hears this should take a fucking women's history class. If you've never taken a woman's history class, if you want to heal as a sacred divine masculine, you need to get your ass in a fucking university and take a women's history class and write the papers, take the exams, learn. Let's start there. Because we have to start from the basics. Because we have not healed anything in 2,000 years. Why? Because the 1% controlled by the Catholic Church, and then there are other churches, religions that came up and sprung out of that, continued the subjugation, the muzzling, and the beatings of women and men. Because you see, when peoples are abused, the people that you think might be benefiting from them, sometimes they're harmed too. I'm going to tell you a story. During Jim Crow, a little black boy, 5 years old, and a little white boy, 5 years old, played in Brooklyn, New York. And they would play together, and they enjoyed each other so much. And they would spend all day together when they could. And finally, the black family and the white family got together, Irish family actually, and they decided that it was not good for their boys to play anymore. At that point, they were 6.5 years old. And they separated those boys. How do I know that story? Because the fire captain, Irish, white man, ballsy, powerful, who had been diagnosed with cancer, told his daughter, who was my friend, and wept that his best friend had been taken from him because of Jim Crow. It harmed him. It harmed him as well. And he could not ever find that child that was his brother from another mother, due to Jim Crow. We have tolerated rules and laws put in place to shut us up, to jail us, to separate us, segregate us for way, way too long, because the 1%, remember the 1%, need to make sure we never lock hands, lock hearts, lock eyes with compassion. That's been the agenda. Gender wars, to look at Mary Magdalene and to see her as an equal to Yeshua, meant that they were going to lose control. Meant that what they had built, which was all based on lies, to subjugate the masses, was going to collapse. If anyone ever knew that Mary of Magdalene gave birth to a daughter. By the way, that's a Jewish tradition. The bloodline runs from daughter to daughter, not from male to male. Who gives a fuck about the last name? We care about the lineage, the bloodline, the womb. That's traditional, by the way. And sure enough. So when people go, oh, it was a son. No, actually it was a daughter. Oh, it was a daughter. Oh my God. No, actually, that was, Yeshua would have smiled in gratitude that it was a daughter, because at that point he knew that the chalice continued. Womb to womb, not penis to penis. Sorry, guys. And just remember, my brothers, you've all been women. You know what it's like to be taken, made love to by a man. Just like we know what it's like to take a woman and make love to her when we were men. I'm not here to be politically correct. I don't give one fuck. Look at what politically correctness has brought us to. Look at where we're at as a people, as a country, as a planet. We've been so afraid to offend that we are offensive in just our existence because we don't have any balls anymore. We don't have any fucking courage to speak out, to say what we need to say. I was just recently on the Hague website, ICC, and there's nothing on what's going on with Gaza, Sudan. I swear to God, look it up. I'm not stupid. I'm actually not stupid. Look it up. There's nothing on Sudan. There's nothing on Congo. There's nothing. Nothing on Gaza. There's nothing. I couldn't find it. If I'm wrong, correct me. More than happy to be wrong. I hope the fuck I'm wrong. But all these people who are Christians, who went with the red heifer, and I'm going to say it, and if I get pulled out, it's not because my phone ran out of batteries. Just so you know. Look up the 5 red heifers on April 19th. I believe it was 2023. Look it up. Look it up. CNN talked about it. And ABC, NBC, MSNBC, all the fucking alphabet channels. Why am I saying that? Because any sacrifice that demands blood is not from God, not from the one of 1,000 names, the one who created us all. It is a false God. It is whatever you want to call it, but it is not the real God. And I'm not talking about devil, by the way. I'm not talking about Lucifer. Trust me, I'm not. I'm talking about a nefarious energy that convince a people for 3,000 years that this was correct. Anything that aggrandizes, anything that creates a casting system, a caste system, anything that says that you are less and we are chosen, anything like that is a lie. Because it feeds the ego. This is why I hate these fucking people who say, why? 5 reasons why you're a chosen one. I hate that shit. Because we weren't chosen. We volunteered. I say that again. You'll hear my videos again and again on YouTube. We volunteered because no one else wanted to. And what did we volunteer for? The ascension. And what does it mean? It means uncovering, tearing down walls, curtains. Kind of like Wizard of Oz tearing down the curtain. That the Wizard of Oz was nothing more than a short little mean man. And he was not fucking powerful. And he had no power but we had given it to him because of our own innate fear of letting our monkey mind create a reality that was not real. And so it's pretty intense to wake up, isn't it? It's not fucking fun, but it's important. And I'm so glad that you're waking up. I'm grateful, as a matter of fact, that you're waking up. Hang on for a quick second. I'm trying to approve your comment and it won't let me. Let me see here. We're both straight and women. Yeah, that happens. Let me explain something to you. So the comment was, my friend thinks we're twin flames. We're both straight and women. That can happen. But you have to make sure that she's not Delulu. I'm just going to fucking play it. I can't be diplomatic, okay? I want to make sure she's not Delulu because I've had clients who were Delulu, who were actually very manipulative, who used the soulmate twin flame agenda to get laid, to get a person in bed. And they're out there. And please don't be naive. So is it yes, it's possible. Is she full of shit? Yes, that's possible too. Does she want to get laid? She's hot for you? Yes, that's also possible. There's a lot of possibilities. And so you need to make sure you're not being played. And the thing about it is when people convince themselves, they're foaming at the mouth saying, that's my twin. It's like, I had a person who kept saying, that's my twin. I kept saying, that's not your twin. I'm not infallible. I'm 80% correct, 20% absolutely fucking wrong. Don't get me wrong, okay? But in this case, I knew she was not with a twin. I knew it for a fucking fact. Why? Well, first of all, she was having gynecological problems. She was losing her hair. She was nauseous and her skin was getting eczema. And a twin flame connection does not do that. I don't care if the twin flame is cheating on you. I'm being very blunt. I don't care if the twin flame's an addict. I don't care if the twin flame is self-destructive, but when you are connected with them, when you're talking to them on the phone, when you make love to them, they make love to you, your whole fucking explosive cellular system thrives. It thrives. It's one of the signs. Multiple signs, but that's one of them. And we twin flames all agree that that's the truth. None of us disagree. So when someone makes you sick, that's not a twin flame. When you're getting, when you're checking out your OBGYN and you're getting thrush and this and that, all kinds of crappy shit happening in your body, it's not a twin flame. Trust me, it's not. And you don't have to trust me. Fucking trust yourself. Use common sense. So be careful, because she could be a woman who wants to fucking just get laid. I always struggled to believe that we needed a blood sacrifice, the crucifixion. Honestly, the crucifixion was so abhorrent and so vile that I get a sense that it was important, that it was the one thing that would be remembered for 2,000 years, and that the rest of the truth would come out anyway. And it was acknowledged. They knew that it would come out anyway. You know, because we're not dumb. Many of us, I keep saying that the Starseed tribes are gathering. I've been saying that for the last 3 years. The great Starseed tribes are gathering. And we are not going to fucking listen to one more fucking lie. We're putting a lot of people on notice. The Catholic Church, the Muslim religion, the Jewish religion. We're putting them on notice. And other religions. I don't have them all under my head. It's not a fucking laundry list, but you know what I'm talking about. We're putting them under fucking notice. Your bullshit of subjugating us, shaming us, diddling with us, fucking with our root chakra. You know what I mean when I say root chakra. If I'm saying that, you know what I mean by root chakra. You're not playing with that anymore. P. Diddy is a joke compared to what's been going on. And it's been going on for a long time under the cover of darkness, under these religious little umbrellas of bullshit. Do you really think I would follow a Christian ideal? No, I follow Yeshua. I follow Mary of Magdalene. I have great reverence for Mother Mary and Joseph. He's never mentioned. No one talks about him. Why not? Oh, because, he didn't create no, but he cared for her. He protected her. He encircled her. He made sure she was safe in a very misogynistic land. You can call it the Holy Land all you want, but it wasn't so holy for women who didn't have the protection of a husband. Let's not be stupid and act like we didn't need husbands way back when, up until 150 years ago. Why do you think women are getting big-ass fucking dogs, 120-pound dogs, Malinois? They've replaced men with dogs, trained dogs. So clearly, Mother Mary needed protection, and she had it from a wonderful man who was not fucked up in the head. He didn't accuse her of cheating, obviously. And you might laugh at me and go, oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about. Really, I don't. I really don't, really. Even the women who were wealthy and incredibly educated and powerful were at some point subjugated by men. Cleopatra with Octavius. She was loved by, get me wrong, she was loved by Caesar and Anthony. There's no problem. We all know that. But she was subjugated by a man who was bitter, a hypocrite, and a piece of shit. And he hated her because she represented the feminine power that could have taken his fucking role out. And we've always, when you look at Boudica, I think that's how you pronounce it, Boudica, and the Irish stories of the female warrior, what happens to her and her daughter? They get raped. That choice has always been used against children and women and men. Native Americans have a history of that as well during the wars. And why? Because when you use that, you heard what I said, I'm not going to repeat it again. I refuse to use the word, the fruit word for it. I refuse. When you attack the root chakra like that, you have siphoned off a person's energy for probably a couple hundred years. That means 2 incarnations. It's a real thing. And they do it with a complete understanding of what they're doing. That means that a person is going to go through that kind of trauma and have to come back and try to heal it and purge it and come back again. That is not a small thing. Why do you think they're using it in the wars I just mentioned? Gaza, Palestine, the Palestinian people, and Congo, Sudan, and other countries I am probably not aware of, but I know they used it during the Contra Wars and the 70s, and Rolling Stones were doing articles about them, about those wars, about what was going on. Oh, Lord, it's Mary of Magdalene and Yeshua is rising from the dust, which has been going on for the last, since they found the Dead Sea Scroll. And you've got, biblical scholars who are absolutely saying it's made up, absolutely saying it's all bullshit. Biblical scholars are brainwashed idiots that are the dogs to the 1%. They are the dogs to the 1%. And I say that because it's true. Most people who are starseeds understand the bullshit of the reality. Do you feel that they fear the light of their child uniting this world and the power of it? That's a very good question. Let me read it loudly. Did you feel that they feared the light of their child entering their world, this world, and the power of it? That child showed divine, tantric, sexual connection. And to control the feminine with the masculine, they had to make Yeshua a celibate. He had to see her as a celibate. Oh, you're just a whore. Wash my feet. They had to put him in that realm instead of the realm of a beautiful, divine masculine who protected her, loved her, made love to her. And from his seed, right? The big O. He had a big O with her. And boom, they had a child. And that child represented that passionate, divine, tantric love. And as long as that was going to be in the forefront, which a child represents sex. Hello? But in this case, it represents divine, sexual, equal, balanced, respectful passion of the divine masculine and feminine. She was that representation. That's why they had to bury it and hunt it down. And they did hunt it down, or else Mary Magdalene could have been in her business, getting pregnant, and never leaving Jerusalem. Why the fuck did she leave? Why did Joseph of Arimathea and other people gather around her and go, we need to get the fuck out? Now, there are 2 stories. One is that Yeshua did not survive his wounds. The other is that he did survive his wounds. Not well. He was always broken. I mean, you can't go through that kind of trauma, but they were able, his mother and Mary of Magdalene were able to get him to such a level that he could travel and did travel. And some stories go that they had more than one child. Another came. Well, some stories say that he had a son who didn't survive and another daughter. And then he died in France. Why? Because the church was based on sex is dirty while they were having bastard children. The popes were having bastard children, the cardinals, the bishops. It's a joke. It's a fucking joke. Okay? In the 9th century, and I can't find it to save my life, is the fact that they used to marry men to each other. So you guys, gay males out there, yeah, the Catholic Church was marrying gay males. And then it stopped. It was around the same time as Pope Joan being a pope. I've always known this. When I say always, I mean in the last, I don't know how am I, in the last 30 years, 33 years of my life, I've always known this, okay? But I've never really gone out public. I speak of it all the time with my what I call my doc holidays, my female friends. I talk about it with my son. I've talked about it with my beloveds, my consort, my eternal consort when he was alive. I talked about it with him, and but I've always known it. And by the way, he didn't believe Yeshua existed, because there was a book written by Acharya S. Her name was Acharya S., an amazing scholar, Acharya S. And she wrote about the reason why she felt it didn't exist, because of Bacchus, the connection with Krishna, the connection with Yeshua, and how it was, and Isis, Osiris, and how it was interconnected with Bacchus. And if you guys don't know what I mean by Bacchus, Dionysus, which is the god of wine and fun, and how every year he's literally hacked up by the Bacchanalians, and then he rises again, kind of like a quasi Persephone, for example. And so she connected, and the one book I have, thank God, of her, she died of breast cancer. On the side note, she left her 12-year-old son behind. God bless him. I hope he's okay. And she was an amazing force. So based on her books, the point is, he didn't believe in Yeshua ever existed. And him and I would have, not arguments, but heated discussions. Because I fully knew Yeshua had walked the planet. It was not a myth. Wikipedia says King James was married and had a male lover, and that astounded me. Don't be astounded. Most of them, don't be astounded. Why are you astounded? Most of these people, this concept of sexuality is really something that really, I think, took hold in the Victorian era. The 19th century was a fucking fuckery for a lot of people. First of all, the Victorian era was a time where, just to give you kind of like, I don't know, an essence of the mood of the United Kingdom. All women had to wear mourning jewelry. What is mourning jewelry? It was hair. It was hair of people that have died. You were making bracelets, necklaces, brooches. They all wore black, and they wore jet jewelry. Jet meaning black jewelry. And she demanded that. Okay, Victoria, with her little stupid ass toxic shit. She was also the person who actually was okay with pushing the famine on the Irish. 4 million, depending on who you speak to, 4 million to 6 million Irish people died because she refused to feed them. All the food was exported. So that bitch was crazy. I don't know why they're making movies about that bitch, but it's like, I don't want anything. Victoria's on my shit list for life, okay? And so that was happening. Meanwhile, okay, there was a whole colorful life. The 19, 20-year-old boys out of the UK would go into a season in Europe, and suddenly color exploded into them. They were doing absinthe, they were doing opium, they were doing all kinds of crazy shit. There were women wearing dresses, their breasts out, perfumes, and sex, and bisexuality and homosexuality was fully enjoyed. Sure, it was a Bacchanalian feast, there's no doubt, and you want to balance stuff out, but there was it was like walking onto another planet for these young men. A season in Europe. That was called a season in Europe. When they hit 19 to 20, thereabouts, they went. And so when you say King James had a male lover, why am I I'm not shocked. Because as you go all the way back, there's a great movie you should watch called Vatel. Vatel. V-A-T-E-L. Vatel, with Gérard Depardieu, Uma Thurman. And you realize, when you read even Anais Nin's books, right? And her diaries, eroticism and freedom with even one night stands was not something outre, meaning off the table. It was like, oh sure, you want to, oh yeah, sure, let's do that. It was insane. It was unhinged. And we're coming to a balance of realizing that sex and sexuality, like Yeshua and Magdalene, is a sacrament. It's tantric. As a matter of fact, if you have a good connection, a soul connection with your beloved, you will have spiritual visions and telepathy and downloads, and Akashic leaves from scrolls will fall into your crown chakra, and you'll have visions of past lives with your beloved. If there's a connection, one night stands is a dead zone. I'm not promoting that. Don't mistake what I'm saying. I'm giving you contrasted understanding. And homosexuality and bisexuality was like nonchalant. It didn't get crazy until the 19th century with the 19th century historians who got kind of stupid. And they got stupid because they wanted to control the masses, and that's when historians who got kind of stupid. And they got stupid because they wanted to control the masses, and that's when, it got kind of weird. So when you watch the movie, or the show, actually, it's a TV show, there's two versions of it, of the Borgias. I mean, it's unhinged. And that's, again, you've got to understand why sexuality is an alchemical power. And Yeshua and Mary Magdalene understood that. And we will never know if he got on that ship to France, to be honest. I personally have my own opinion on that. Your opinion has to be yours. It's not that I like to think he got on that ship to France. It's in my heart of hearts, I know he got on that ship to France. And they did not have many years left together because his body was broken. His mother, a high priestess of Isis, and his beautiful, beloved consort, wife, Mary Magdalene, there was just so much they could do with that kind of damage. The physical body could not maintain itself for like 80 years of life. So he probably died, depending on what you feel, 6 to 10 years later. So he was 33 on the cross. That means he would have been, 40 to, 43 afterwards. And begat and gave his beloved the seeds of these beautiful souls. But for their own safety, they had to keep it hush-hush. That's why I did a whole live, and I hope you'll watch it on YouTube, on why none of the French kings have any lineages, and if they do, it was by force, meaning rape. And if that's true, then it's fucking nil and void. The crystalline codes of that bloodline goes dormant, dead. That's it. There's nothing happening. That means that it doesn't matter anymore. And you have to I don't know, take the puzzles of the personality of Yeshua that like from the letters of Pontius Pilate to his actions in the New Testament, and how he spoke and how he acted and his fairness and his he did not tolerate injustice. And just think about what he would have raised, what he would have wanted Mary. And Mary of Magdalene would have been his mirror. She would have raised a daughter that was not going to fucking marry a king. She would have been protected in a community of herbalists and midwives and shamans and druids and so on and so forth, which I talked about. And that felt right to me when I said it. And you don't go from being a humble man kicking down, and I always talk about the merchants' tables being kicked over. I always admire Yeshua for that move. That was a boss move. That was a move that only a powerful man will do, or a powerful woman. And I always loved him for that scene. That scene made me love him, because I felt that is a man who knows where the hypocrisy and the toxicity lies. It's right there in that fucking temple, or whatever the fuck room it was. And he said no. So you really think he would raise, or he would have begotten a child with a woman who would just, fold? No. Mary Magdalene, it was in her own right a fucking boss bitch. She had to deal with Peter and other. I write down the list in my my live. You'll see it on my comments. She is a boss bitch. She is being harassed by half of the apostles. Fucking hated her. They hated her. And I don't know why I'm being drawn to talk about it this much. And the other half adored her. Adored her. They were Gnostics. And they understood what Yeshua and Mary Magdalene. They were gurus. And they would speak equally about energy, mind control, mantras, meditations, connecting. They were not following the Abrahamic traditions. They were hippies, for Christ's fucking sake. And they might have done sacred medicines. Who knows? But I do know this. They were trained outside of their communities. They had to be. They had to be. And again, I keep repeating myself, but Jesus lived in India. People have talked about that. It's like the common sense is so fucking common. It's like, why don't people, the 3 wise men from the East, for Christ's fucking sake, how much do we need? So they came, they found out, they saw the star, they went to the barn, right? Because, let's not give mercy to these 2 poor souls and this woman about to give birth and breaking her water. Forget that. Here's a barn. Oh yeah, that's nice. Thank you. The level of shit that these people went through. And these 3 wise men coming out of nowhere. These are shamans. These are druids. These are magicians who had known, who were telepathic, psychic. They were oracles. And they came. And they found, it was like they had a telepathic compass leading them to I believe it verbatim. The fact that December 25th is not, I don't give a fuck. Let's put a Christmas tree up. I don't give a shit. I care about the fact that there were 3 wise men. I don't care if it was April, July, August, September. I don't give a fuck. What I care about is I believe there were 3 wise men that came. And they didn't come in with, they probably came in with gifts, but they said, when he is of this age, bring him to Egypt, bring him to India, bring him to Tibet. We need to train him. He's right. When he's ready. That's what I always saw. And that was my own download. It's not popular. It's not something I read. It was a download. One day it hit me. I went, wait, hang on. 3 wise men. Hang on. Stop. And every picture shows a black man, an Asian man, and an Arabic man. I was like, oh, fuck. It was right in our faces. They've been giving us hints. Why? Well, there's a spiritual law. I love that law because thank God for it. When you're going to fuck people over, you got to let them know that you're about to fuck them over. The Matrix movie is about that. It's about that. It's about, okay, well, we need to make a Hollywood movie because we are assholes. But there's a spiritual law. And if we're going to be getting away with being assholes and abusing people, we need to let them know we're doing it. So we're going to make these screenplays and we're going to shoot it and release it. And then people's apathy will take over because apathy is consent. And then the last Matrix movie, what happens? He loses. And let's be honest, he loses. And so the message is now embedded in the psyche of the populace. Oh, it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter who you love. You're going to lose anyway. What's the point? So apathy sets in. It's actually brilliant shit. It's psychological, emotional, spiritual warfare. It's brilliant. You got to bow to them and go, wow, fucking bravo. Wow. Chest. And we have to see, and we need to examine individually and collectively and create content to share the downloads we're getting. That's our job. None of us are prophets. Trust me. I'm no prophet. You're no prophet. But what we need to do is connect the dots and share the fucking dots so we can actually see the whole entire vision expose itself to us. And we will find each other. Tag me, I'll tag you, I'll share. There's certain things I'm sharing of people saying X, Y, and Z, and I'm sharing. If it's good, I'm going to share. Astral Legend, look him up. Astral Legend on YouTube, on Yeshua. Look it up. Look it up. Why would I hide that from you? And some of the shit you might not agree. That's okay. You don't have to agree. We're not asking you. None of us who are putting this content out are asking you to agree on every word we say. In fact, please don't. Please don't. Find out what makes sense to you. What makes sense? What doesn't make sense? Or you may want to revisit it later. You know, like there's shit when I read Jesus Lived in India by this German scholar, I was 17. Okay? And today I found the book. I was like, oh my God, I got to find this book. Holy shit. I've read so many books when I was a teenage girl. You have no idea. From the age of 14 to 18, I was reading everything. I was an animal when it came to reading. And then the matrix fell upon my consciousness. And what do I mean? I mean, I was working like a dog, 6 days a week, 12-hour days, 7 days a week, 12-hour days. Why did they do that? Well, they want you to be fucking asleep. They want you to be too exhausted. They want you to just, binge on fucking Netflix, popcorn, ice cream, and a glass of wine. Hello? It's a very sweet lobotomy. The cage is golden until it's not. And so I'm so happy that you're here listening to me. Not because you're listening to me, because I want you to listen to you. I want you to fucking look at what were the books you were reading when you were a kid? What are the things you let go that you were investigating, studying, learning, journaling? What were they? Go back to them. Go back to because those desires are the key to your mission. And they will refine your mission once you excavate those original missions, those original passions, interests, curiosities that had you up until, whatever, And so go back to them. Try to remember them. If you don't remember, it's okay. Go into your meditations and ask, show me. Show me what I've forgotten that I'm here to do. Just ask and you shall receive. It's not difficult. Trust me, they want you to win on the other side of the veils. They want you to win. They're all holding their breath to make sure we make it to the finish line of the ascension. Trust me. If not, trust yourself. Trust these divine beings that are on the other side of the veils, which include Yeshua and Mary Magdalene. We are the fractal codes of their love. We are like 1/8 of a drop of their bloodline in our crystalline soul's codes, not blood, our soul's code. And we were coded before we took these incarnations, these bodies, you're black, white, red, yellow, polka dot, whatever the fuck you are, in whatever world you live in, whatever country you live in. And you were given the task of awakening. Because when you awaken, it's a domino effect. And that's how important you are. We have 8 billion people. Do I expect 4 billion to awake? No. But you know what? If we can get a nice amount, we're good to go. As a matter of fact, as many of us as can ascend, the rest will rubber band to us little by little by little, and that's okay. Not everyone is going to be awakened in 2032 or 2042. Some of us will drop our bodies and will continue the work from the other side of the veils. Do you understand? For your lineage that you embody today, for lineages you long ago forgot you had embodied. That's what Mary Magdalena and Yeshua are doing on the other side of the veils. They're asking us to wake up. And their story is a trigger moment in history. It is collapsing 2,000 years of absolute fucking deviant bullshit that created other religions on its heels. And you know what I'm talking about. So behind them was the Abrahamic religions that created the orthodox teachings that created, just think for a second. I don't give a fuck about being politically correct. I just don't want my life pulled down. Just think about the timelines of religions that appeared. That's all. And you're smart. You can figure it out. Oh, welcome from Portugal. I love you. I can't wait to go there. That's my dream place. The very beginnings of the Knights Templars. So I hope that answered your question on King James and his lover. Let me see here. I love that story where Yeshua flipped tables and bullwhipped. That was my favorite story. It was probably the only story worth reading, to be honest. Because when I was in a school, a Lutheran, it was called the Hong Kong Lutheran School, right? And we had a Bible study. And I'm going to be honest, I would always read shit from the Old Testament and pull out all the sex scenes every single time. I was 14. My teacher, thank God, God bless her, laughed. We always smirk and giggle because she knew if anyone was going to find the sex scenes, it was me. Because it was like, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? It was like, what the fuck is this? Like, what does this mean? Why is this there? What does this mean? Right? And she would always, she never shame me or admonish me or send me to the principals. I think, looking back on her, because she was a really cool woman, she must have appreciated my irreverence and my absolute rebelliousness on these, books, holy books. But I'm so glad that we got to spend some time together. I'm going to go, but I will definitely upload this if you want to see it. Thank you, Jillian. I appreciate you being there and your support and your love. So just think about what content can you create? What can you go, I don't care if it doesn't have to be a Yeshua and Marima. It could be about Buddha. It could be about Radha and Krishna. It could be about Muhammad and Khadija. Okay, that's a story that I'm not going to step into that because there's too much anti-Muslim shit going on right now. But believe me, every religion has massive fucking Swiss cheese holes. Okay, all of them do. Okay, I'm not kidding. That includes the Torah. If you read the Torah, you'll fucking, if you're not white, you'll turn white. Let me just say that. You'll go, holy fuck. Okay? So, none of them are pure. In fact, that's the problem. None of them are pure. They don't come from a place of integrity, love, and fairness, and protection of the most vulnerable. None of them, ultimately. Am I wrong? I don't think I am. And if you think I'm wrong, you're more than, I welcome you to think I'm wrong, absolutely. But if I see that you believe that these kinds of toxic philosophies are acceptable, I'll be blunt. We're not going to be friends at all. I don't tolerate bullshit. I don't tolerate evil against children, against women, against the elderly, against men, strong men, weak men. I don't tolerate any fucking anger, rancor, revenge, subjugation, psychological brainwashing, manipulation at all. I just don't. And the rage, the righteous rage that Yeshua had, speaking of Jillian saying, I like that, the bullwhip and the merchant's tables. It's weird how that's a story that somehow survived the butchery and the hacking of his words and his story and his real truth, that survived for some reason. I guess it was to shame the poor into being poorer. I guess, again, you got to look at psychology and go, holy fuck, these were masters of manipulation. Because, come to think of it, that's the download I'm getting. Yeah, so what's that story about? It's about saying, see, the poor, the meek will inherit the earth, and to want money, to want wealth makes you evil, but it's okay if we're wealthy. It's okay if I have a gold calendar, whatever the hell, a candlestick holder. It's okay for me to be dressed in embroidered gold threads, because I am a cardinal. It's okay for me to have a whole chapel made, with silver and gold, but God forbid. Remember what Yeshua did. he turned over the merchant's table. It's like, it's the gaslighting is unhinged. It's like amazing. You got to look at them and go, wow. And then look at our naivete when we were incarnated as the peasantry, the foot soldiers, the lower lords of lands and things of that nature, and go, what the, we were really hoodwinked. I mean, we were really, but that's not going to happen anymore. That is not going to happen anymore. And for us, and one of the tactics that they've been using on women, and I'm going to just straight up, demure. Last year, demure was the word of 2024. And it was a psychological lobotomy of your voice as a woman. Demure. Because men aren't demure, women are demure. And what's happening now is that everyone's kicking over the merchant's tables and going, fuck off. Kindly fuck off. So I want you to be confident in your voice. I can't tell you how many clients I work with all over the world, from Australia to Europe to the UK, and their voice, their throat chakra is timid. It doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman. They're timid, they're unsure, they're afraid of fucking up. And you will fuck up, trust me. I fucked up so many times I can't even tell you. But I always just repair it. Just repair the fuckery. If you say something that's not true, just repair it. Just put it in a footnote in your video and go, I thought this, I was wrong. This is the fact. My apologies. And move on. Move the fuck on. Keep going. We need more of you as starseeds to start talking about what is going on. What are your downloads? What's being said? What's a lie? What is valid? What is healing? What is toxic? We need to also talk about sexuality, tantric, powerful energy, sex magic, which Yeshua and Mary Magdalene understood. Go back to my high priestess stories of how we as high priestess would take warriors, broken down warriors, heal them psychologically, physically, and make love to them and send them back into the world. This is an ancient rite that has been stripped. We have been stripped down to the bare bones, and then we were given a tie and a shirt. And this is true. In the 80s, you guys, many of you weren't born there. We were literally asked to look like a man and go to work with our briefcase, instead of being the high priestesses that we are, and literally come from a place of connecting with nature and being pregnant and giving birth, or choosing not to have children, whatever the hell your choice is, it's all good. And downloading from nature and being in our full telepathic communication with the Akashic Record Masters, the Galactic Council, the avatars that have walked this planet, and to then give that energy and understanding to our sacred masculine. They have made sure that most women are single mothers. They have made sure that the sacred masculine detests the feminine. They have made sure, and we have played in their game. And when you have a template like Yeshua and Mary Magdalene, when you have that kind of template where sex magic is used, where ancient rites that are connected to the Akashic truths, the infinite library of knowledge. Fuck that tree of knowledge with the little fruit. Infinite knowledge of the Akashic records. The fucking tables turn. And they were afraid of that, and they knew it. And this shit is passed on from father to son and mother to daughter of the 1%. And it's not a joke. It's actually serious. And they know that once we wake up, we are dangerous. Why? Because we're not going to take their shit. And why aren't we? Because we want to be left the fuck alone. The pay-to-play game is ending. You know what pay-to-play means? It means I'm not going to play your game. I'm not going to work 6-7 days a week to survive. In fact, in America, my European brothers and sisters, the average person is working 2 jobs. And if they're not working 2 jobs, they're working 6 days a week, 12-hour days, which is like 2 jobs. The average person that I know is a single mother. She's a very dear friend of my son's. She's working 120 hours a week. Did you hear what I said? She's a single mother of a 5-year-old. Do you think that's normal? Do you think that's even fair? And men are being absolutely ripped to shreds with their deviant desires, used with porno, with the red pillars. And I've been asking men to get together. I said, it's funny, red pillars on Telegram can actually, organize 77,000 of them. Organized. 77,000 pieces of shit organized, but you guys as divine masculines can't organize? Like, everyone is calling everyone out because we need to up the ante. We need to up our game. So you're either going to be apathetic, which means you consent to the bullshit, or you're going to rise. And the template that we were given by Mary Magdalene and Yeshua is the template. And that's why it was hidden, buried alive. And people lost their lives. I'm not joking. Lost their fucking lives. Because they knew about this secret. They buried jars in the Sinai desert and other places. I'm sure there's things. If we pay attention, there will be things found in caves in Europe that are Gnostic, that will tell the tale, and they will deny it or they will burn it. Our intuition, our psychic energy, our third eye needs to be open so we can get downloads. And yeah, we'll have fucking Delulu people coming out going, I'm Yeshua, I'm Mary Mac. You'll have all kinds of assholes coming out of the woodworks. Trust me. But we're not dumb. And many of us will actually share notes where our download intuition will be verified. Why? Because 3-4 people from different parts of the world will have the same fucking download. That's when you know it's true. It's not Delulu at this point. It's like, wait, hang on. You're in Portugal. You're in Glastonbury. I'm in America. And you're in Switzerland. And we had a meditation on a message from Yeshua, and we got essentially the same message. There might be a couple things wrong, but essentially the message is the same. This is the shit we're not doing as a people. We're not fucking working together. And we need to start linking hands and connecting with each other and meditating separately on I'll give you an example of what we did recently, me and 2 women. We worked on the chakras of the planet. Why? Well, because my thought form was, we want the 5D new Earth. But how the fuck are we going to get that if we're still playing the same old chakra game from the same template that's been 3D for the last, I don't know, depending on who you talk to, 2,000 years, 1,500 years, 1,000 years. The chakras are going to change, aren't they, on the planet? Aren't they? Of course they are. So we started remapping in our minds, for us, the chakras of the planet. Not what they were seeing on fucking Google, but what we saw. By the way, 9 chakras. Actually not. 12. 12 chakras. From the Earth Star to the Soul Star to the Causal Gateway to there's another one. Anyway. And we mapped it out. Did we all agree? No, but if we refined our meditations together, we probably could. And those are the kinds of exercises we need to do to push this planet, not push it, fuck that word, escort it into the 5D, new Earth. And Yeshua and Mary Magdalena were looking to create a new Earth. And I think at some point they realized it's going to take a little longer, 2,000 years later. And that's what's happening. You know, that's what, I mean, it took longer than they thought. But for people to wait for them to come back to save us, because like they're the cavalry, that's not only selfish, it's stupid. They're not, do you understand? They've burned so much karma, they're not a match for 3D anymore. They're not a match. Don't wait for them to come back. They're not coming back. We are their conduits. We are their messengers, you and me, and others like us. Do you get that? So you're not waiting for the cavalry. They're not coming. We're coming. I'm coming. You're coming to the rescue. To each other. For each other. That's what you need. And that will put you into action instead of waiting. Again, apathy is dangerous. And the 1% love apathy. They actually count on empathy. Not empathy, apathy. Anyway, I want to send you so much love on your journey. Please follow me on YouTube. I will go ahead and post this video. And I'm looking at this beautiful, beautiful expression or example of Mary of Magdalene and her beautiful child with the wide eyes, expectant, with the curly hair. Yeshua's curly hair. They were Palestinians. Okay? That means they were Semitic. Okay? And we need to remember what that means and what's going on in some parts of the world. And we need to pray for them. So much love to you. All right. Namaste. Be well. Thank you again. Thank you. Always glad to hear you. Oh, thank you. I'm honored. Thank you so much. Take care. Namaste. Be well.